Intro. Hello, welcome. Ow! I hurt my neck. Ow. Yep, I shouldn't have done that. Okay. Hello and welcome. This is going to be the first vintage challenge with the new banned and restricted list. I think PO's in a pretty good spot right now, so we're going to play a version of Paradoxical Outcome, Tendrils, Bolas Citadel Tinker. We're going back to Hurkyl's Recall with the resurgence of aggro shops. Red Splash for Narset and opposing PO decks, and obviously a reliance on turn 1 slow tutors for Tinker plays. The only really suspect things in this list right now is we have the Singleton Misstep, we have the 12 lands 4 Mox Opal mana base, which is not something that most people are on right now. 2 grid is a concession to Force of Vigor. Obviously, Hurkyl's in the main. This is a concession to that resurgence of aggro shops. And then instead of playing Narsets, we're playing Trinket Mages. They attack opposing shops, give us quantity of cards to bounce with PO. Obviously, with a Trinket Mage and a Sapphire you get off it, then you have a pretty reasonable Paradoxical Outcome just on Trinket Mage alone. I think that's pretty much all I really wanted to talk about for the list. So let's just hop right in. So round 1 versus Wordy, probably Eldrazi or Shops. We're on the play. And that's a good hand. I will note that, I hurt my neck last night, so I'm going to try to limit my movement and not get too excited. So, I don't know exactly how this is going to go, but that's the plan. So, against Shops, you do really want to deploy early. There's some pretty high downside to casting Ancestral Recall, and that would be if we hit no Moxen, then we have to discard a card. But the upside is much, much greater, which is we hit a Moxen and we get to play out a bunch of our things. So I am going to lead with, because I think it will be Shops, I am just going to lead on an island to play around Wasteland, and I am going to cast Ancestral on our opening turn here. Obviously, it could end up not being Shops or Eldrazi, but vintage players tend to stick to their preferred archetypes whenever possible, so I'm willing to make some hedges based on that. Oh, I'll definitely blame you for any losses. Alright, so we were unable to hit any Moxen here, but we did hit some reasonable cards. We can't cast the Vampiric Tutor now, but it would facilitate a Tinker draw later. I think, in general, we just don't need 2 Trinket Mages, so we're just going to pitch a Trinket Mage. So, a little unlucky to not hit any Moxen there, but such is life. Next turn we have the ability to, Mana Vault into Trinket Mage, Lotus, Top. We have tons and tons of plays, but opponent could easily be Sphere of Resistance, Trinisphere, Chalice, those kind of things, and we don't really have any Force of Wills in our hand to fight that. So even though we had a pretty strong Ancestral hand, we were not able to come up with any fast mana, so are pretty exposed to a good Workshop draw here, which is not really where you want to be. Against Workshops, when you're lucky enough to get the play as PO, you really want to try to make sure you win that match, that game. Because having to beat Shops, it's going to not be Shops. Okay. It looks like it might just be Dredge. This hand is okay versus Dredge. We don't have any main... Oh, it's Survival. Alright, well, I was wrong. So let's see if opponent has any fast mana here. Yeah, they just have a hollowed one. So that's a pretty fast Dredge start. We're obviously not on Blightsteel in the main. Pretty fast Survival start. It's going to be a little difficult, it looks like. So we want to be careful about tinkering a Bolas Citadel when opponent can play Force of Vigor. We also have to be careful when we PO, because opponent can play Force of Vigor and really hamper our PO. But right now, we don't really have much of a luxury to do that. We're taking 9, going to 6. We'll be dead in 2 turns, even with... Well, with a Trinket Mage block, we would not be dead, but with the fact that we have a Mana Vault that will probably be tapped would in fact kill us in 2 turns. Second top's a pretty bad draw. So I don't think we can get Citadel this turn. If we were to play Mana Vault and play Trinket Mage, That would be 1 extra mana. Get a Lotus. That would be used Tutor, and we have 2 mana. No, 1 extra mana. Getting a Lotus, we have 4 mana. Use Tutor, we have 3 mana. Use top to draw off the Tutor is down to 2 mana, so there wouldn't be enough to Tinker. But we could Yogg-Will, right? No, not really. So we have Lightning Bolts in the deck to kill a Vengevine. That could buy us some time. We could just try to go for a PO in the near future, but we need some action to do so. If we were to say Mana Vault, Trinket Mage, top Sapphire, I guess we could go top Opal and then cast Vampiric. That's probably our best line, I think. But that would kill us. We won't have enough life, right? Well, we have 2 turns, so we would take 9, 11, 12. Or we can always block. Yeah. Let's look at something like that, I think. I'm just gonna go grab an Opal here. We could always grab Soul Ring double top, which would be, if we don't get anything destroyed or oofed, it would be a 6 card PO, but we would have no blue mana. And I think it's pretty important that we find an Opal or a Sapphire if we want a PO chain. But we can also look at Vampiric Tutoring for Bolas Citadel. We have a couple options here, so we do have to bear in mind that opponent can put more Vengevines into play, or an Oof. This is a hard Windswept Heath, snow-covered forest. Wow. So this would be 9, and Mana Vault would be 10. If we wanted to go the PO route, we still have to find a mana source. So it's more likely for us to just go for the Bolas Citadel route, in which case we really want to preserve our life total as much as possible. So I am going to just could make the block on the Rootwalla, take 8, go to 6. I can make the block on the Hollow one, take 5, go to 10, go to 9, go to 7. 7 life and a Bolas Citadel. It's like a little risky. What other options can we Vampiric for? We could Vampiric for... I kind of just want to put a Bolas Citadel into play and hope it's good enough. We do have a top. Yeah, let's just try to preserve our life total as much as possible. The obvious problem with this line is that we are not able to play around an opponent's Force of Vigor, but I don't think any of our lines actually are able to play around Force of Vigor, so I think we're just going to run into that. You don't really want Bolas Citadel in any matchup where opponent has Force of Vigor. Typically, all the Force of Vigor matchups, you switch out your Bolas Citadel for a Blightsteel Postboard. Trop. Hopefully you just play like a Deathrite Shaman or something. Please don't play an Oof. Please don't play an Oof. Please don't play... Okay, thank God. Whew. Play like 2 Deathrite Shamans. Oh no, is that an Oof? Wow. So we don't have enough to play a Bolas Citadel through that. We could Vampiric for a Force of Will. We could just Vampiric for a Lightning Bolt. We could spin for a Force of Will. Alright, this throws off all our plans. Opponent had double a land and a fast mana and an Oof, which is basically the best thing they can have. If we had an additional land, it wouldn't be a problem, but because we do not have an additional land, If we vampiric for a force, then we really just have nothing going for us next turn, and we probably die. If we spin for a force, we still are not able to vampiric. We vampiric for a bolt, we still can't really make any plays. This is a pretty bad spot to be in. I'm pretty sure we need to spin. I think if we vampiric for an answer, we would be pretty susceptible. Vampiric for Talarian doesn't really solve like some of the core issues. So we found the force and there's an island. But I don't really think this gets us anywhere is the real problem. I don't think the Merchant Scroll is ever going to do anything either, so it's just this PO. So we take it down to 8. We know that there's an island on the top of our deck. I don't think there's an out here. So we could vampiric for Talarian and then hope to draw Time Walk, I think. We do this, we do this. We vampiric and we put Talarian on the top of our deck. We draw with this, we play Talarian, we make 3 mana, we look at the top 3 cards and look for a Time Walk. Alright, we didn't hit a Time Walk. Alright. That's pretty unfortunate, because I actually thought we were in a pretty decent spot until opponent had the fast mana for an oof. Bazaar is a pretty powerful magic card. So, Blightsteel in, Bola Citadel out, Needle in, Bolt in, Pyroblasts out. I think that's it. Hercules out, 1 Crypt in. 1 Crypt is fine with our 2 Trinket Mages. And then I think we'll just keep this plan. Tendrils is a lot worse when we don't have Bola Citadel in our deck, but I think it's still fine. Might not be necessary, though. So, a pretty poor Ancestral recall ended up in our death there. If our Ancestral hits an off-color Moxen, I think we win that game by a large amount, because we get to play our Mana Vault on turn 1. So, basically, I think we were just a bit unlucky with our Ancestral Recall cards, but... Alright, we get to be on the play again. Oh, I don't need defense... Well, Defense Grid versus Force of Vigor. Actually, it's probably fine to keep Defense Grid in. Opponent probably has 4 Force of Vigor. I could be wrong. Nah, I think it's fine. I did say I wanted Defense Grid versus Force of Vigor. Yeah, I accept. I accept this hand. So we're a little short on turn 1 Tinker, but we have Force of Will back up in turn 2 Tinker, so we'll definitely take that. So opponents probably has like a Deathrite Shaman here, which we of course will let happen. Don't want to play Ruby because I don't really want to expose it to a Force of Vigor. Will that slow us down long enough? I don't really think opponent is on a Force of Will version. So I think it's pretty okay for me to just force this. Well, I'm just going to put a Blightsteel into play and hope that's good enough. Which is what I'm known for, so it is how I won the TMD. Just putting a bunch of Blightsteels into play and hoping they were good enough. Small brain PO tactics right here. Alright, it was good enough. So I think I am going to keep my defense grids in. None of the other cards are very good. I could put in like some more Tormod scripts, but I don't actually like Tormod scripts that much against them. And with Trinket Mage Tormod script already in the deck, I don't really see a reason to. So this hand does not do very much, but it does have a Tormod script that's protected by a defense grid. And the opponent's on a mulligan, and any PO draws a lethal draw, so I think I'm actually going to keep it. So if opponent plays a turn 1 oof, we probably just lose. If opponent plays a turn 2 oof, we probably lose, but I don't know. That's kind of how oof is, right? See if this is a Deathray Shaman or not. Savannah, Sapphire, oof, I would assume. Or is it survival? That's pretty unfortunate for us. So we have lightning bolts and other lands in our deck, but pretty unfortunate. That's, yeah, we have to draw a fetch land and a lightning bolt before our opponent kills us. But opponent might have just kept this hand on the back of the strength of oof, so really needed just one more blue mana. I'm sure opponent also has survival because reasonable things. Yep, reasonable things. Alright. I'm already not lucky enough. I understand. Coin flips the format. I could have mulliganed, but I thought the hand was pretty reasonable. The only like cards it was really bad against was okay, sure. The only hand it was like super bad against was turn 1 oof, so even even turn 2 oof is not good enough because I can hold up hardcast Force of Will with the mana base that I had in my hand. So this is really why you need to win the games you're on the play. So I don't really know if I have any outs left. I guess Tolarian. So like Ancestral into Tolarian into Time Walk is probably my best line. Pretty punished for having these defense grids in my deck, but they weren't really better as the other cards either, so I guess I could hit Tolarian into Tinker as well. But that might be too late. Opponent's going to be survivaling twice per turn. So next turn I'm going to take a... They're going to get a second oof. Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. Alright, so now my lines really are probably just Tinker. I don't have any kind of sweepers in the deck either. Yeah, but I'm on 12 lands, so it's likely that I will just never draw another land and die, probably. Though this hand with the Demonic Tutor is a lethal hand, so I do feel pretty validated in my keep, but unfortunately, opponent had turn 1 oof, and we did not have Forcible backup. Which is kind of just how Vintage goes right now. You just need to have Forcible on turn 1. Well, I get to save my whole afternoon if I lose next round. That's pretty dope. And there's plenty of streams to watch. I mean, it's better than Pyroblast. We boarded in 1 crit with 2 Trinket Mage in our deck. I think that's completely reasonable. I think I would board in 1 crypt here pretty much every time. Like, it's just better than Pyroblast. It's the only thing, right? I don't think Flusterstorm is remotely reasonable. Opponent has probably 5 counterable Flusterstorm targets in their entire deck. I think that's insane. 1 Ancestral, 1 Time Walk, up to 4 Force of Vigor. Yeah. So, a Demonic Tutor... So, Talarian still works here. Because Talarian, Demonic Tutor... I mean, I don't know how I'm going to win, but... I mean, I think you're just going to beat Force of Vigor anyways, so I don't really think it matters. Alright, cool. Awesome. I think it's like pretty low cost to put a Tormod script in your deck with double Trinket Mages. It's just going to give you infinite time. But opponent mulled to what, 5 and had a turn 1 Cloak the Roof. And we didn't have a blue card for our force. So maybe we should mulligan that hand. It's possible. I just felt like that hand was pretty strong. It answered Force of Vigor. It had turn 1 Force of Will. Any action spell is a victory. Like, any PO is lethal. I can't imagine, like, mulliganing that hand. Opponent just had a better hand. I think it'd be pretty greedy to mulligan that hand.